Hi, Molly.
Hi,
Thank you so
hi,
much. Yeah,
Tanya.
this is my first friendly interview. So I'm really excited to
Oh,
discuss with you. No, I'm just kidding.
amazing.
Uh, so
Hi.
I am writing a book, and it's on the in the intersection between really accountability and building your personal advisory board, and really seeing if building that actually, when you achieve your monumental goals, that it sticks. So it's not like a boot camp where all of a sudden you have a boot camp, but then you end up going to default. So I'd love to know, what is your opinion about this?
Well, I think you're preaching to the choir. By the way, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so what do I think about that? My opinion is basically I think there's no faster, better, reliable way to improve your performance in any given area than to surround yourself with people that are living a life in a way that you admire and would like to bring in certain aspects for yourself. Um, so, in my own personal life, I've found that it's it's just
So how have you seen this play out in your life?
there we go. I have seen it play out so like it's almost formulaic that when I go into my own world and kind of as an only child, it's very easy for me to kind of go insular and do my own thing. And when I do that, my results are in alignment with that. I suddenly like kind of lower my expectations for myself. Oh, I'll do that tomorrow. Ba, 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 until it finally hits me, okay, that's what's going on. I actually need to surround myself with high achievers. And when I do that, it's night and day. So what happens is when I have conversations with people that are up to big things, one, I'm inspired. Two, it almost gives me there's almost this like subtle modeling that can happen, or just raising your level of performance to match that other person that you maybe identify with or respect or what have you, and then has me really just step up my game. And finally, the big one for me though is like, oh, that's nice to have inspiration, but when I'm in those conversations with people and then there's an expectation of either a challenge or accountability or something, that then there has to be action over here on my part with needing to deliver, it's like it's ridiculous, because then suddenly I'll figure it out to make it work. It might look ridiculous, or I'll have to do things that I wouldn't normally do, but it's fantastic. And then how great do you feel at the end of that?
Mm.
So right now in my life, I'm really trying to leverage the power of that more regularly. And I think for me, I'm clear that now that's kind of the key to achieving things that are bigger than I know myself to be at the moment.
Great. And can you tell me a specific time in your life where you've
Yes.
used or leveraged this power of accountability in a personal advisory board?
Sure. Okay. So let's see. There's a couple times. So one, trying to think of like specific measurable results. Well, with you, I have done a couple of things with you that have been fantastic. One, when you had challenged me to the Instagram a day or lose 5K.
I totally forgot that one. Instagram a day or lose.
How good is that? And with my frugal kind of mindset, there was no way I was losing 5K. So not only did the momentum happen, like, I mean, it sounds like a silly challenge, but like it was big a deal for me. I was literally nervous about like that. It goes to show how much I want to look good. And I was literally nervous about like and overthinking. What do I post? What do I post? And it got people involved in it, because I told them I was doing this thing, and it's just so noteworthy, that people then want to be in on the fun. So literally, like, I had a group of friends that we all kind of group posted my first thing together, which sounds ridiculous, but that's really what happened. And then flash forward, not only did I keep that going every single day for, I think it was supposed to be the 2 week challenge, or whatever it was. I kept it going for a whole year after that. So that was pretty cool. That was actually in June of last year. And so I guess it was a little bit before that when I actually stopped doing it exactly every day. It was about April, I think. But so almost a year, just because of the momentum. And there's no way I would have done that without that. So that's one. The second one that involves you too is the daily or weekly newsletters. Now I'm on 46, I think I just did. And haven't missed a week on that. And so 46 weeks ago, just in a conversation with you, there was just, all right, so let's do it. And so suddenly started sending these newsletters. And now what's been so great is then I have this content that I wouldn't have had, certainly not that consistently. And now, for the launch of my website, I've been able to port all those over, tons of words written that I wouldn't have had. Now joining this book challenge. I don't know if that applies for this or not, but, right now where I'm sitting, there's zero chance that I would do this on my own. It's not possible, but somehow I have a settledness in my brain that yeah, it's happening. So in April I'll be, publishing a book because and it's just, I know that knowing that there's a structure, that there's a group, that there's other people in it has me be settled about it. Another one on a personal front has been, I was in this women's group for about, I don't know, maybe almost 2 years. That was really powerful. It actually was kind of on a personal level, allowed me to make that kind of transition that I think a lot of us make from maybe your more default friends, the college friends, the going out, the whatever friends, to more curated, selected friends, if that makes sense. You don't get rid of the other friends, but, just kind of ones that are kind of in alignment and on the paths that you're on. And so that really helped me to really see oh my God, I can actually design my friend groups. It doesn't have to just be who I've always known myself to be surrounded by.
Can you tell me what meeting you're in? What day was it? Who was around? Just drop me into one of these groups.
Oh, sure. Okay. So, I did fly on the wall. That was very good. Let's see. Okay. So for that group, it began as kind of almost like a women's book group and morphed into just a real friendship, group of friends. So what it would look like is, we'd go to friends, different apartments, they would host them, and you'd show up. There would be this sense of community. It'd be, what you'd see is I don't know, glasses of rosé or something, you know what I mean? And then some healthy foods, and then lots of conversations, a little mini agenda of what was going to be discussed. And then just camaraderie and up leveling. We started adding in semi-mastermind feels of different hot seats. So each person would get a hot seat for each meetup. And so it allowed us to kind of have this cool blend of fun, familiarity, and then also leaving with tangible kind of insights and actions for how to, improve, very growth minded, if that makes sense. And then reading different things along the way. So we had different books always going to kind of discuss and, pick apart.
Tell me one moment where in that group where it really kind of changed the way you thought or how you doing how you do your personal things that now you no longer default to that.
Well,
and what was that moment? You're sitting there in the group, somebody asked you.
Yeah, let's see. There's definitely a few. One was when I was on the hot seat, and it's funny that we're having this conversation because one of the people, actually Bella, was you must surround yourself with people that are doing bigger things, essentially. She literally said that. It was kind of crazy. And she was it is so important for you to, and she actually literally said, I don't care if you put together your own kind of advisory, board, or if you have some sort, whatever it looks like, Just ensure that you're continuing to stretch yourself, because of all of our own personal tendencies, but myself included, to get comfortable, and ensure that, you know, I don't have a life where my life goes by. You know what I mean? Like, and it really just somehow, in the way it was said, and like the group setting and the here and now-ness of it all, it wasn't like, you know, some casual call, or I'm not watching a webinar. Like, there are people there with me that were like, this is urgent, you know? Like, somehow it just hit me in that moment. Like, it's so true. And it also had me really shift from, because this was in like my late 20s, had me really personally shift a lot of, I was still spending like obligatory time in my calendar with certain people that I just didn't feel great at the end of the meetups. Do you know what I mean? If that makes sense. Yeah. I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think that was weird. I thought that was just life. Like, well, you know, there's these certain people that you got to do it. Like, and it was such a blind spot to say, like, no, your calendar doesn't have to look like that. And for me, starting to see that, like, I really do get a lot out of connections and social interactions, and that it was just an exciting thing to realize, like, okay, I'm going to really start being the designer of my life. And I'm going to start really designing, like, who is in it, what kind of journeys we're all on, which then later in more, you know, recent years, as I began to, like, you know, coming from a more empowered state, realize that I make a difference in the people that I'm around, and that I can help bring them up as well. So it wasn't like a one-way street. So that's been really empowering too, and getting like my own personal impact. Because I think in the beginning of all this, I didn't see that, you know? So,
and did that help you travel?
Oh my God, yes. Oh, so that's another thing why this has been so powerful for me now with traveling. Because I was actually just on the Ultra Working call, and I was like one of the speakers on there. That's been another crazy, yeah, right? It's been another really cool group of people to be a part of, that's strictly, you know, productivity focused. And when I was on that speaking call, I was saying, like, you know, it's interesting. I'm doing all this traveling. I've been traveling for the last like 2 years, and it can get really lonely. You know, it's like, it can be amazing, of course. And then, you know, you get some great pictures, it's fun, but then day to day, it can be really, really lonely. And so to have these structures in place with other people that are rising above whatever their circumstances are to just get shit done, really helps. And just makes it fun along the way. Like, I really feel like I've created this whole like online community too, where, like, you know, we can partner up and we can get stuff done and we can check in on each other, no matter the time zones or any of that, which is really important. So with the power of, you know, video, Zoom calls, you know, all of it, it's pretty incredible time we're in that you can foster that type of relationship.
So can you tell me a time when you were traveling and you kind of had like a moment of where you broke down?
Oh my God.
Because there was a phase where you didn't travel beyond the U.S. God, if I didn't know all this information, how would I get it out of me? That's interesting. I have to think about that.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Because like then there's all these gems that like.
Yeah, because it's the whole point of like, I don't think you had a passport beforehand, right?
I did, but you know, I just hadn't gone super far. Like I'd gone to a wedding in Ecuador. I'd gone to Portugal for a work thing, but
like all out.
Yeah.
So then how was it then when you had that breakdown and then going to building your community so that you became productive and you didn't default into this, like where most people would have done, where they would have been like, oh, I don't want to travel. I'm like, this isn't working, these systems.
Oh, 100%. Well, okay. So when I first started, my boyfriend and I first started traveling more, or not more, when we first began this whole concept of like, we can work from anywhere. The lead up to that was that same formulaic thing that, you know, we touched on earlier, that right around that time I was coming from a place that I got so much on my plate. I, you know, can't deal with anything. And then really started going more into my own, you know, default ways. And then surprise, surprise, what ended up happening, total burnout, breakdown, while in Europe, and just like to the point that it was affecting my health and well-being, and could not sleep in a way that was like reliable, count onable. And it was such a scary time to be filled with such like anxiety and fear and, you know, uncertainty, and really a sense that I'm doing it all on my own type thing. So what ended up happening was I had to, what went down was then leaving Europe, coming back to the United States, really coming back like a homecoming, getting connected to, you know, friends, getting health and well-being handled, you know, doctors in the United States and what have you. And then it ended up being so impactful that moment, like I never want to hear, like have people have that experience for themselves so much that I have an entire company around that topic, you know, about ensuring that they never have these sense of feeling like alone in the middle of the night and not being able to sleep and just overrun with, you know, ways of designing their life that it's just not sustainable, not workable. So what that ended up looking like was, in order to get myself out of that, you know, doing development courses, putting myself into, you know, different environments to remind like, no, like you can design your life however you want it to go. And so it took connection. It took people like reminding me of my greatness, you know, reminding me of what's possible. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I had this great moment with actually Joe from Landmark, who was like, "You've just forgotten who you are." She just said it was such like, you know, kind of matter of factness that somehow it just landed really well. And it really did have to become like a reminding myself of like who I know myself to be, what's possible, and all that came from conversations and interactions. So as a only child, as much as like, you know, again, the pull can be doing my own thing, I see that like it's so important to take the time, energy, and effort to create and maintain amazing relationships. You know, so still, of course, navigating that on the road, but that's the latest.
And how do you use SPAR? So I heard that there's many ways to use SPAR, right? You can use it and you can join a community, or you can create your own, which it seems like you've done, to kind of ensure that you have these people checking in on a habit that you don't want to do, and then you've already earned what, $200 or something?
Yeah, exactly. So 200 since like January of this year, and it's just been incredible. Like it really has shifted so many day-to-day habits. So anything that you want to work on, you can pretty much do in there. But, you know, attach money to it. And this is obviously a theme of mine. And so it's really powerful because, so for instance, a couple things that I've changed, you know, doing a daily journal habit, meditation, let's see, what else is there? Certain like bedtimes, wake times, because all of these you have to do a video check-in. So it's time stamped from wherever you are. And so if that's not there, if you're checking in too late, it's just flagged automatically. And then you have to pay whatever the amount is per day, $15, $20, $50, whatever yours is. One that was really powerful and connected to my business was a sunrise challenge. And then I had people from all over the world checking in, but they had to be outside during the sunrise. Because there's a decent amount of studies that point to that being helpful for sleep. So basically by doing that, I like literally made friends on there. It's crazy. So we have, there's actually a few that ended up joining Ultra Working with me, you know, all these different online communities that are all about accountability. And then, so SPAR allows you to, like you said, you can either join a bunch of ones that are going on there. Like I was just on one to watch like very casual, almost fun, like, you know, watch one documentary a week for 4 weeks. You know, Brett Diamond joined it and whatever, and it ends up just being like a fun one. Or ones that have really been, you know, bothersome for people, like really committing to losing weight. Like they'll do ones where they have to be in the gym, so they have to show like the pan over of being in the gym certain times, you know, certain amount a week, that sort of thing. So it's really whatever is, you know, of interest or value for you, you can kind of put on there.
And what have you done for your fitness?
So fitness, let's see, I've done a bunch of things.
Which one stuck and which ones didn't stick?
Let's see, I guess, for me, classes. I know. There's so many. For me, classes, really, again, more of like the energy of a group of other people. All I have to do, like, I really like not having to think, you know, so just, all I know is I just have to show up. And then they kind of like, you know, do the rest. So that seems to just be one of the most foolproof. And then I have of course, an app called FitBod, and even that I've used on a social way of, so like right now where we are in Vegas, going with different people to the gym, we'll use FitBod to kind of design our workouts for the day. And it literally just spits out like whatever, you know, section you haven't worked on. And then it will spit out like, you know, all the different workouts that you can do based on your equipment. And they have all the equipment at the gym, so it just comes right out. That, then also some of the ones that you can do remote classes on. I like those too. Again, more with the energy of other people. So I guess, yeah, the sticking has been just the consistency and also just telling people I'm going to be there, you know, like, oh, okay, so I'll see you at class tomorrow. And then, you know, you got to show up pretty much.
Got it. And what has failed?
Really what has failed is when I think it's, again, back to that same like paint by numbers, when I start being like, oh, you know what, I can maximize time. I'll just put on, you know, some video and I'll do the workout there and I'll do it at home. And then I can also listen to an audiobook or something, you know, that's all insular and just my thing. It just doesn't work. Like, you know, maybe I'll do it for a couple times and then no, you know, and I continue to do that. Like I always think it's like, oh, this is a great idea. And then like eventually I've really been slowly starting to connect that it's just not sustainable. Maybe a couple one-offs, but really needing to find, you know, especially as we're traveling, you know, find like our home base type gyms, you know, so those really help. I also like to make them kind of like work and workout. So like I would have actually been doing this call from the gym that we're at, but just it's like a little bit more quiet, so I didn't feel like I could do a call there. But I can like really work and work out, and I have like the whole, you know what I mean? It becomes like a resort type feel, kind of like Chelsea Piers set up. So, and Chelsea Piers is the other really great one. Like I would make my appointments come to the gym. I would make, you know, like as in like coffee dates or whatever.
But what didn't work in the sense of like something that was like extreme? Maybe you had to cut out popcorn or sugar, then you ended up defaulting. And like when you finally, like what was something that's drastic that like really kind of defined your health?
Let's see. So, well, on the nutrition thing, I'm still a big fan of intermittent fasting, but I think it has to be done really mindfully and really checking in on, you know, what works, what doesn't work for you. So one that didn't work for me was doing like the 24 setup. So it's like the 20 hours of the day you're fasting, 4 hours you're not fasting. And that was actually right before I like had my whole total burnout, couldn't sleep stuff, because, you know, I was just putting so many stressors on my body. And so I would just have this little tiny window for eating window. Then I would be layering in like CrossFit and intense things that are really stressing your body. And then just a regular sleep patterns. It was just like that perfect storm to just not have optimal health. And what the other problematic thing about that is that then a lot of my eating would be later in the day. And so then your body's having to really digest all that before sleep. And so the type of sleep you're left with is just not great. Yeah. So then now, because not to villainize intermittent fasting, because it can be such a powerful tool. It's just when it's done in a smart way. So like now I do circadian rhythm intermittent fasting. So that has you eat between sunrise and sunset. So it's much more like a natural, kind of back to basics way of eating. And that's been really great. Like that one has been much more sustainable.
And you do that with your
question around like, yep. Mm-hmm. And then
had a buddy, but if you did that on your own, how would you feel?
I mean, I think because I'm so committed on the sleep thing, because I get like my feedback on my Oura Ring and I just see the total difference. It has me be pretty committed, but actually that's a good point. If he wasn't doing it, I'm sure it would be much more challenging if he was like having nachos or something around me at night, like, the things that I love. And actually another circle that's made a big difference too is I'm also on this app called Noom or Noom. I don't know how to pronounce it, honestly. Noom. And it's been so great. I'm on week like 10. And basically it's you get an online coach, daily modules. You get a group and an accountability buddy. And then you're doing like self-reflection on like, cause you're just kind of quickly logging what you've eaten in the day, and it helps you be like more mindful. But then also to have this sense that like I have this whole crew of people with me that we're eating better together.
You put a group of your friends, or did you do it through Noom?
Yeah, this is all through Noom. So it's like part of the offering. So it's like ends up being like $50 a month, but you get the group coach, the accountability buddy.
How many systems are you involved in?
I actually I don't know if this goes in anything, but I'll tell you that like I literally just sent a message that I probably won't be doing any more spars for a while, because now I just have to streamline so many of my things. Because now we just have so many things we're taking on. Like it's just too much cognitive overload for something.
You have the ultra working, the Noom, this
Cave
accountability.
Yep.
Cave day.
Yeah, Cave day.
Book creating.
Yep, book creating. Another accountability with the guy that I met from SPAR, the PhD guy in London.
6.
Yep. So those. Yep.
So 6 of them. Okay.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And then when you're not doing all these, how's your life?
Let's see.
Have you been in a period of your life? Well, yeah, it was actually before, during that girl time, where the quote was, like, you don't want life passing you.
Yeah. Yep. And even then I was still doing like, Landmark and that sort of thing, like personal development, Tony Robbins. But I will say that stuff in my life all really began at 26 on. So I think before that was just a fucking shit show. Like it was just not a healthy, certainly it wasn't a created life. It was definitely a defaulted, like, and nothing wrong. It's just like in retrospect, I'm just so thankful that I was able to find, more of these like growth-minded, people to surround myself with, because I just see that it like has given me my whole life now.
Yeah, for me in particular, if anytime I'm not in a group for accountability, I'm just like floating through life.
Yes, totally.
And I'm not getting as much done. I'm just kind of like, it's life, right?
No,
It's a weird kind of feeling. It's almost like I feel a little down, but not admitting it.
yes. Oh, you know what would be, it's a great one. The accountability when we did the Muay Thai training camp for a month was incredible. It was so immersive. There's another time when it was like literally visible results of like before and afters. And just by being surrounded by everyone that's intentionally doing the same sort of thing, training, learning new skills. We're all eating the same things because they had like healthy food there. Just on similar regimens, you get to see their transformation. I mean, that was so cool because some people look like different fucking people by the end. So yeah.
What do you guys do afterwards?
And then what's been incredible is that it really we called it almost just like kind of the new chapter in our like health, well-being. Now shortly after I joined the Noom app, and so like to continue to have that kind of like conversations going, because we did see other friends that had been in it and then they started traveling and they're new to traveling, so they went to like Europe and they would get wine and breads and all the things, and then they're like, weight's starting to come back on. Whereas for us, like I guess it was a little bit easier because it wasn't like the travel part isn't as new to us anymore, so like it was still try out some new.
But you also got yourself
trying to like.
That not only do you have him, it feels like you also got yourself Noom to get yourself in that structure.
100%. Yeah, and Blake did My Body Tutor for a while. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, I heard it's amazing.
Yeah, yep. So that was helpful. So between all of us kind of being in that conversation, then even out here for poker, all the poker players, because they're taking this, it's like their business. So they're eating well, and you know what I mean? Like they'll meditate in the morning and
oh wow.
Yeah. So it's like more mindful boys, I suppose.
Seriously, wow.
I know. Actually, they're having me step up my meditation game. Every morning they'll go like at different points, like on different ones of them will be meditating outside. They'll go swimming. It's impressive.
Sweet. Yeah, that is it. Luckily, this is transcribed because like, I'm sure I got tons of good quotes. Like, now I just gotta figure out how, I guess it's like I can't get hooked on building a personal advisory board, right? I gotta like, I guess I interview and see the patterns.
Yeah, I think probably just, because I guess it depends on who you're talking to, but personal advisory board, I don't know, it sounds so like high level or something, but when it's in that sense of like when you've been in a group of some sort, of course personal advice to some people that will really resonate, but for the across the board, especially for your friendly interviews, I'd imagine some of just like surrounding yourself by high achievers or some sort of project or whatever, but then how do we keep it short, like right? Because I still have to do some of, like, I've only done
3:15. So how long was that? Why can't I do math? 3:30 would be like 30 minutes. I went over.
Yeah.
No. Done 30 minutes.
No.
I just
still good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. So as long as we're doing it in 30 minutes, I mean, it's just so because it's so good because obviously you know me. So
well, I just thought about that when I was telling you that. I was like, you're going to do research on the people.
Yeah. Right.
So then what you're going to be doing is asking them specific questions. The thing is, the thing that was hard for you, I was trying to get out of you. Remember, he said you need a time,
yes,
a person, a place, and then you were going very like I was like, shit, I need a time, I need a place, Mollie, come on.
Oh,
so I was like, dropping. No, but I got a bunch. Afterwards, you were just flowing. So then, because that's how
good. I'm glad you're saying that because I actually totally forgot about that part. I need to look.
Because the quote would be like, there I was wanting to eat nachos. And hopped on the phone with the two people, and luckily we had noon. And we were able to da.
Right. So I guess there'll probably be some ellipses in mine. Or like
no, there's a
brackets.
bunch of them, but no, you're my first one, so this is really good practice.
Good.
Trying
Yeah.
to get, well, I don't know. I'm assuming that that's what he said as a story. He kept saying like most people can't tell a story, and I'm like,
Right. Got it. No, this is really helpful because so the only other one.
no.
Oh, what's that?